Today, we're going to unpack one of the most fascinating stories happening on the planet right now. It's a real paradox. India's economy is absolutely soaring, but a lot of the people living there are feeling a serious pinch. So let's jump into the data and see what's really going on. And this right here is the central question for our whole explainer. You see all the headlines, right? A rising India, a new global powerhouse. But, at the kitchen table, the conversation sounds completely different. We're going to dig into that gap between the massive national success story and the day-to-day financial reality. Okay, so let's start with the big picture, the view from 30,000 feet. Because honestly, the scale of India's transformation is just staggering. The numbers tell a story of incredible achievement on a national level. To really get a grip on India, you have to start with its sheer scale. We're talking 1.45 billion people. It's now the most populous country on Earth, so you have to remember every single percentage point of growth, every little social change, it affects this enormous number of people. And here's the economic muscle behind that story, a GDP that's knocking on the door of $4 trillion. That makes India one of the world's largest and fastest growing major economies, a true heavyweight on the global stage, no question about it. Now, what's really fascinating about a slide like this is what it actually represents. This isn't just a number. Getting to near universal access to electricity, well, that signals a fundamental modernization of daily life for hundreds of millions. It connects them to the modern world in a way that just wasn't even possible a generation ago.
And this progress isn't just economic. A life expectancy of 72 years. Think about that. That's up from around 63 years at the turn of the millennium. It's a clear, undeniable sign of deep improvements in things like healthcare, nutrition, and just the overall quality of life on a massive, massive scale.
So, okay, the national picture is impressive, but now we're going to zoom in. Let's move from that big macroeconomic view to the microeconomic reality. Let's try to understand what's actually happening inside the average Indian household. And this, right here, illustrates the core problems so brilliantly. You've got the economy growing at a really strong 6.5%. That's fantastic news. But at the same time, the cost of living, what you and I pay for things, is rising by 5%. That very narrow gap is where families are feeling the squeeze as their income struggles to just stay ahead of their expenses. This table really shows how things have changed. And you can see obvious progress, right? GDP per person has multiplied, people are living longer, unemployment is down. But take a closer look at that GDP per capita number for today. While it is a huge improvement, it still works out to a pretty modest income when you have to spread it across 1.45 billion people. And this financial pressure, it's not some abstract idea. It's real-world stress. It's actually a classic sign of a rapidly developing economy. People's aspirations for a better life and the costs that go with it, like a good education or private healthcare, they often rise even faster than incomes. This is what creates that burden of paying for better schools, unexpected medical bills, and those constant monthly loan payments, called EMIs in India, that really define the middle-class experience for so many. This number is really telling. It's a projection, but it says that almost 500,000 more people are expected to leave India than arrive. It kind of suggests that despite all the opportunities at home, a really significant number of people are still looking overseas for their future, maybe trying to escape that very squeeze we've been talking about. Of course, this kind of incredible growth doesn't just happen in a vacuum. So for part 3, let's look at the unavoidable trade-offs that come with rapid industrialization and supporting such a massive population, specifically the strain it puts on the environment. Here, we really see the two sides of the environmental coin. On the one hand, India has done an impressive job of maintaining its forest cover at around 24.5%. But on the other hand, as the economy grows, individual CO2 emissions are rising, now at about 2.2 tons per person. It's a classic development dilemma. And that pressure is especially intense when it comes to water. India is already pulling out 45% of its available freshwater resources every single year. For a country that depends so heavily on agriculture and is facing a lot of climate uncertainty, this is a huge, huge challenge. Okay, let's shift gears now and turn to the social fabric of the country. Because beyond the economics and the environment, India is going through this profound social and digital transformation that is fundamentally reshaping the society itself.
I mean, just look at this incredible leap. From less than 1% of the country being online at the turn of the century to a projected 70% by next year. This digital revolution has unlocked all kinds of new economic opportunities, it's transformed communication, and it has just completely rewired Indian society. This slide gives us a quick snapshot of just how complex that social picture is. You see great progress, like the poverty rate falling to just over 5%, but you also see persistent challenges, like needing to improve access to basic sanitation or increasing female representation in politics. And notice that last one, 3.5% of GDP comes from money sent home from abroad, which links right back to that migration story we saw earlier. So what does this all add up to? In our final section, we're going to put it all together, summarize this central paradox, and look at the fundamental question that's going to define India's next chapter.
If there's one key idea to take away from all this, it's this concept right here, the paradox of progress. It's this idea that a country can be hitting all the right notes on the global stage, while at the same time, many of its citizens feel like they're just struggling to keep up.
And that really is the story of India today. It's a nation of immense scale and complexity, trying to bridge that huge gap. The gap between a soaring stock market and the price of vegetables, between $1 trillion GDP and a monthly household budget. And all of this leaves us with the ultimate question. The trajectory is undeniably pointing up. But the great challenge and the story that is still being written is whether this incredible ascent can actually translate into shared prosperity for all 1.45 billion of its people.